Nate looks like he just did a rail of cocaine. Look, he's biting his upper lip. No. Let's do it. It's the After Party Podcast. Oh, this is going to be a weird one. Everyone's here. There's Danielle. I see Scotty B. I see Skiri. I see...
Dead people?
Nate Marino. I see dead people. I see Gandhi. And Diamond is joining us today. Diamond, hello.
Hi, good morning.
She's here.
She's here.
We love her. Tell her we love her. Before we get started, we have an ongoing problem with Nate and his addiction to sugar.
Yeah.
And so, as always, on this day of the week, we have Candy in the room.
Yeah.
So, Gandhi, tell everyone what he just did.
Well, before we came on air here or into the podcast, Nate was whispering like a crazy person to himself in the corner, I'm sick. I had 8 pieces.
Yeah.
He was looking at us insanely. It was not good.
I should have never had those 8 pieces
I
of
may have
chocolate.
overindulged.
Right.
Just a little bit.
So then he gets up and walks over to the box and starts rummaging for a 9th piece of this chocolate.
9 pieces.
So as he's walking by, I said, Danielle, grab that from him. Nate, spit it out. Danielle, smack it out of his hand. Smack it out of his hand.
Yeah.
And Danielle, what did you do?
I didn't do anything because somebody yelled at us.
I did.
There's an enabler in the room, and
Nate,
his name
by the
is
way,
Elvis.
Nate looks like he just did a rail of cocaine. Look, he's biting his upper lip. No, you look like a junkie. Anyway, and you are a chocolate junkie.
I'm a sugar junkie. I'm sorry.
know, but-
If I was going over there doing lines of blow, would you stop me or just
Yes.
let me do it?
I will stop you.
I would take that straw out of your hand and do them myself. No, but
God.
hey, junkie Nate, here's the thing. He's got to make his own decision. You're not going to be there all the time to slap it out of his hand.
I understand
myself.
that, but when we are here and he's already said that he has an issue and he should be stopped, we were trying to stop him.
Yes. Like in front of me? No. Not on my watch. I'm going to knock next. You know what? Next time I'm going to run over and I'm going to lick it.
I would still eat
You're a
it.
sicko.
Oh, he would eat it out of your mouth.
Listen, the struggle is real.
Bingo.
That's a big box of candy
And
over there.
It is.
And they smell. It smells amazing. The aroma of chocolate, and
I know,
especially
I know.
with all the different kinds of nut clusters. and
He's
caramel
got to.
and juice.
He has to want to help himself. You know how that
Right.
works.
Do you know what
All
he
right.
did? And this is how you know there's a serious addiction. Yesterday when the box arrived, we usually just leave food out. Everybody takes it. No, Nate took it and hid it.
I
So he
squirreled
can
it
come
away.
back to his stash later.
And let me tell you, we got that box the day before. I said to Nate, should we open this box now? Okay, he said, no, we're going to keep it for a special occasion. Wait, so Gandhi, I took the box and I put it under my desk. The next day, apparently a special occasion, it ended in Y, and he says, hey, get the box of candy out. I go, Nate, you said save it for a special
Guys.
occasion. He's like, oh yeah, it's special. Get that out. Get that
I
out.
tell you what, the special occasion was he fell off the wagon and had a
I was
craving.
never on the wagon.
Exactly. This is a
seriously,
wagon.
You look up addiction. This is exactly what this is.
All right, calm down, Mary. Calm down. All right, well, let's keep an eye on that. Let's table that. Let's just keep an eye on Nate. But I'm like, if you look, back when I was really, really overweight, breakfast would arrive, and I would pick up the breakfast burrito and have it up to my lips, and Danielle would say,
That's right.
"Do you really want to eat that?"
Yeah, because you asked us to do that. So if I'm just
I
trying
never
to help
ever
you.
asked anyone to do that.
Yeah, you
I
did.
never ever.
Yes,
I
at
never
one
ever
point-
did.
At one
Never.
point, you said, if you see me, whatever, just try to reel me in. So we were like, all right. So we would say something, and you'd get mad. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna reel him in anymore. I'm like, forget it.
If you see something, say something.
Right.
Unless it's to me.
I don't know. I disagree with that with her story. I don't remember asking anyone for help.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, so okay, we got to move on. There's a reason why Diamond's here, other than the fact we love her. Diamond, Gandhi said that you brought up this interesting, thought-provoking conversation topic.
Yes, because she's
And,
an intellectual. Yes.
She is. I love it, by the way. I love it, and I've actually seen this in action before. But go ahead.
So my question was, because we came in at 5:30 this morning, Danielle and I are complaining about our lives, and I just thought to myself, like, Would you rather live the life that we're all living now, where you see how great life is or how great life could be? You're around people who live extravagant lifestyles if you don't live that life yourself. And would you rather live that life where you're seeing that, but you have like a tendency to just complain about like BS? Nothing that really is life altering is going on in our lives right now. So like we don't really have much to complain about, but we really fixate on these like little things? Or would you rather live a life where you're just oblivious to everything? You are around people who don't make as much, but you're fulfilled and happy because you just think that this is the way that life is, even though it's probably really hard for them or you, whoever. Would you rather live that life where you're oblivious to how hard your life actually is? Which one would you rather do?
Option 2.
Yeah, option 2.
That's what I said.
Option
Well,
one. Option
Well, hold on. Scary's already living a life of oblivion. Oblivious.
I do walk around aloof. That's okay. But why wouldn't you want the finer things in life?
Because if
Isn't
you
that
don't even know you're missing the finer things in life, then you don't need them.
Okay,
Yeah.
can we? Well, so you gave an example, Gandhi. I guess it was when you're having this conversation with Diamond about, let's say, a tribe living in Africa.
Yes.
Right.
Let's take it to the extremes, right? So let's say that there is a tribe in Africa and they spend every day hunting for food, growing their food, getting their water, only hanging out with each other, and that's the life they enjoy. They don't know that they're missing out on Gucci, Fendi, Prada, social media, beer, excess, this extravagance that we all live. They're happy. Every day they're happy. That does seem like a better life
Yep.
than what we are doing right now.
When you look at pictures, like, you know how some of these countries, they still wear like little loincloth things, and that's all the guys wear, and nobody blinks an eye, and that's their life. And like you said, they're doing all these other things, and they don't have no idea. And I go, wow. I go, even though they're having a hard life, they may not know it's a hard life, and that it's just to them, they don't miss those things. They don't need those things. Like, to feel that way must be
Amazing.
right?
Oh my God.
Well, okay, I saw this in action. When Alex and I were in Africa, in Tanzania, several years ago, our friend Vianney said, hey, there is a tribe here that is welcoming to visitors, to people who are on safari, and would you like to go run with them for the day? He said, it's eye-opening. I said, yes. And I wish we could go do this. And we may do this one day. I've always wanted to take us all on safari. But listen. So we met up with this safari. It took 3 translators to be able to communicate with them.
Wow.
Because their language is so far from ours. Ours is so far from them. But they're like, all right, let's go. So yes, there was loinclothage going on. Some of the women were topless and had their babies who were, breastfeeding from time to time, and this and that, whatever. They don't care. They don't know what day of the week it is. They don't care. So our first stop was this big tree full of killer bees who were doing their honeycombs in the tree. They went to the tree. They used some sort of man-made machete thing to open up the bark. They built a fire using sticks, and they smoked these bees out as best as they could and grabbed the honeycomb out, and that was their breakfast. Wow. And they passed it around and ate it for breakfast.
Wow.
They shared it with us. One guy, the guy with the longest loincloth, he actually got stung. He was getting stung by these bees that would probably make us call the hospital. Next stop, the women were foraging for plants and flowers they use that are medicinal because one of their friends is about to have a baby and they needed it to cut the pain. And then we stopped, and this one guy out of nowhere went, bop, 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 whatever his language was. He pulled out a bow and arrow and boom, right into the bushes next to a tree. He hit a rabbit, killed a rabbit.
Wow.
It wasn't dead yet. He pulled the rabbit out. We didn't see the rabbit. He did, because this is what he does every day. The rabbit wasn't dead, so he put his teeth around the rabbit's neck and killed it to put it out of its misery.
Okay, wow.
We then went and built a fire, and while they were building the fire, they were getting the rabbit ready to eat. This was their lunch. Wow. Then they burned the fur off of the rabbit. Then they used this machete thing to scrape all the fur off. They pulled the meat out. There was no salt, pepper. There was no hot sauce.
Wow.
And this was their lunch. And this is what they do every single day.
My only question with this is, if somebody gets really sick, they don't have access to any of the medicines and stuff that we have, right?
They don't want
it's
it.
just-
How is this a better life than Fendi, Gucci, Prada?
Because they don't know Fendi.
Scary.
They don't know Fendi Gucci Prada.
They don't know any of this stuff.
They've seen cameras and phones because they see it in our hands. But we asked if they wanted to play with it. They're like, no, they're scared of it.
But the
They don't-
barbaric way that you describe the primitive ways of like gnawing on
But
the
scary.
neck. And
But it's
They don't
barbaric
know.
to you.
Stung.
And
That's
they don't
barbaric
know.
to you.
But that's pain.
There's stuff
Gandhi,
that maybe
give him the point. And Diamond, give him the point we're trying to talk about here.
if you don't know what you don't know, how do you miss it? If
Right.
they have never tasted salt or pepper or flick seasoning, they don't miss it. If they're not constantly worrying about keeping up with other people and what will they think, how do they miss it? We've created all of these constructs to stress ourselves out, and based on this conception of society and community that's telling us what we should be doing. They don't have that. They're probably happier. They're probably mentally healthier. As far as getting sick, I have a feeling they don't get the same sicknesses because they're probably
Right.
not around the same
Yeah, they're just
cancer-causing
around
agents.
themselves
Yeah.
too, and
we
they're
are.
if they're all just together, they're not bringing in anything.
And
like, you know.
exercising. They're
Yeah.
exercising.
And Scary could never go there to see it in action because his cell phone wouldn't work, and there's no way
Right.
he could possibly
He
be
couldn't
there.
handle
It does not work there. Scary.
Scary.
Do you miss your children?
I don't have any children.
Exactly.
So how can you ever talk about what it's like having a child and missing your child? Do you miss your 350-foot yacht? No, never had one.
Checkmate.
I mean,
Duran.
I know,
see
but
what you
I mean,
did there.
it's a very stupid way of explaining it. But you don't miss what you don't have. These
Right.
people, they don't even know what day of the week is. They don't need to know. They don't need to know.
Ignorance really is bliss. And ignorance doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just, I don't have that thing. I don't know about that thing. So I don't miss that thing.
Right.
I read a quote. It's one of my favorites. It says, somewhere, some poor phoneless fool is probably sitting next to a waterfall, totally unaware of how angry and scared he's supposed to be.
Yep.
Oh, wow, I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that all the time. Like, yeah, man, before all of this stuff, people might have been happier. It was a simpler time. It's a good thing.
Yep.
Diamond,
What up,
good
Nate?
thought provoker.
Well,
My
love it.
brother uses his phone to text and make phone calls. He doesn't have any apps on it. When he was here a couple of weeks ago, he showed me his screen time, 17 minutes for the day.
That's
What?
amazing.
That was it.
That's amazing.
That was it. And that was texting his daughters and texting his wife and making a phone call.
I tell you,
That was
when,
it.
when
It's
we're
amazing.
on vacation, sometimes I will put it on the other side of the room and not look at it all day. I won't turn on the television. And then you don't know, like, the news that, that you've missed or whatever. And sometimes that feeling is amazing. It is the best. And then when you turn it on and you have to catch up, you go, oh gosh, why did I turn it on?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, again, Diamond, thank you. And Gandhi, thanks for telling us that Diamond brought that to you. I love it.
and
She had a
intellectual.
good thought today.
Yes, yes.
I love that
is
she
an
said she had a
intellectual.
good thought today.
Yeah. It happens once in a while.
Garbage.
Every other time it's like, did you see what Teresa did? Real Housewives or fill in the blank.
Losers.
Oh, my God.
Whatever.